Hello everyone and welcome to our presentation on family violence.
When looking at victims of abusive relationships, there are really two questions that can help determine if somebody's going to stay in that relationship or leave that are fairly accurate. One of the questions is, will I be better off? The other one is, can I do it? These questions both relate to social exchange theory, and we're going to cover that here in a little bit, but there are a lot of factors that go into these questions, and some of them are fear of losing your children, what's going to happen to them, actually having genuine love for your partner, being afraid of failing when you try to leave. Maybe you have religious beliefs that discourage divorce. When again, looking at victims of these abusive relationships, it's important to take all of these factors into consideration when they're looking at staying or leaving.
The cycle of violence starts when tension starts to build between a couple, which leads to the actual act of violence, and then it results back to like a honeymoon phase where everything's going well, and then the cycle just like continues over and over again, and it gets more severe each time. It gets faster each time, as well as it's reinforcing because the honeymoon phase is when the most violence can happen because it's rewarded.
Are you okay?
Yeah. You ready to go?
Come here.
What?
Darlene says your back's all bruised up.
No, it's nothing.
Well, then let me see.
No, don't.
Come on,
out.
stand
Stop.
still.
Well,
Darlene, you get out of here.
what's going on?
Now, Darlene.
Look, I'm all right, so don't go blowing this up into something it's not. Okay?
What happened?
Nothing. Let's go eat.
No, we're not going to go anywhere till you tell me how your back got all bruised
I
up
told
like that.
you I'm okay.
You come over here, your back is all bruised up. You won't tell me nothing about it. How do I know if you didn't get raped or mugged or something? Does Fisher know about this?
Why can't you just drop it?
That son of a bitch.
You don't understand.
He beat the crap.
No, he didn't. It's no big deal.
It's no big deal. What are you saying? He hit you. It's not like he forgot your birthday.
We had an argument this afternoon, and he pushed me a couple times. Not Fisher's fault.
Then whose fault is it? I can't believe that you're saying
You
this.
don't even listen to me. He said he was sorry, and it would never happen again.
Damn, Jackie, you were a cop. You heard this same crap a million times now. You're throwing it out on me. How could you let this happen to you?
Shut up! You don't know the whole story. He's been under a lot of pressure lately. There's no work. And I told him that he should look for a job at a bigger company, and he told me that I didn't believe in him, and he told me a million times when he gets in a mood like that I should just walk away, and I didn't. I just kept pushing him and pushing him.
Don't say any more.
What happened?
Fisher beat the crap out of her.
What?
I'm all right. I don't want anybody to know about it.
Is she really okay?
Yeah. Yeah, come on. We're gonna go wash your face.
When people use the exchange theory when looking at family violence, they take the abused individual, and the abused individual kind of looks at three different options when it comes to weighing out their options of what is best to do with the relationship. So they can look at the cost of leaving the relationship. Will they be able to fend for themselves, if you will? And then they look at the rewards, if they feel loved, needed, and taken care of. Or does the abuser protect them? Then they also look at the net profit on how their life will be in the long run if they do versus if they don't.
So some of the last things we want to touch on when it comes to the dynamics of violence in relationships are, first off, there's generally a last straw event in these abusive relationships that does cause somebody to leave. They have an event that happens. It may be large, it may be small, but it really changes how they view the relationship. They have a complete paradigm shift and make the decision that at that point they need to leave. It's also important to note that only 10% of violence in relationships happens when couples are married. So it's very low compared to couples that are just dating or cohabitating versus married. And then about half of all people that are in an abusive marriage were victims of violence before they got married in the first place. Lastly, the higher education a victim has, the more likely they are to end the relationship and leave. And this has a lot to do with exchange theory, in that a higher education increases the ability to support themselves, and they're going to look at that when they're weighing the costs versus rewards of leaving, and that can help increase their overall profit when they make that decision to leave.